Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio? Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is July 10th, and it is Monday. Monday. The markets have been kind of Monday-fied, it seems to me. Um, it looks like all the indices are playing well together today. They're all pretty much singing the same tune. Uh, I don't know if any of you caught the earlier uh, stuff in the chat room. Um, however, there's this business of the TF, what used to be the TF and is now the RTY or whatever it is, RTY. Um, we're kind of given this the market will be up. Don't worry, when it's ready. Aaron posted a really interesting tidbit of news about that this morning. He's got the volume up on that thing, and it was exactly 900 contracts. That's ridiculous. That's like trying to trade, I don't know, uh, lumber or orange juice or some silly thing. You can't, the kind of trading that we do, you just can't do it without volume. That's all there is to it. I mean, you can, but the risk is huge. So just give it a few days, and it might even take a couple, 3 weeks or so till things get sorted out. But there's two issues with that. Number one is the volume and everybody kind of standing on the sidelines, waiting to see what's going to happen and how many are going to trade on the CME and how many are going to trade on the ICE and all that stuff. Uh, I believe that the volume on the CME at some point will greatly exceed the ICE, simply because CME is going to, they're including that in their data package. But only time will tell, and there's literally no sense in trying to take trades that we already know the market has no volume. The second issue is with some of these apex indicators like expected volume and the expected range boxes and several different indicators that we all pretty much all of us use. It's going to take a few days, if not a couple, 3 or 4 weeks, till the data is accumulated to make those things, what we're used to. We're used to the accuracy of them. And if they don't have the data in there to be pulling the numbers for the internal programming to them, it's not going to be what we're used to. And those of us that used to trade the TF all the time a long time ago, took me a while to warm up to that thing. But once I did, I really liked it. And and Aaron makes an excellent point here that there's going to be a contract roll too. So just it'll be obvious when it's time to trade that thing. So just be patient, and we will get it up. It'll be up on the cloud charts. I'm not real sure what Nadex is doing with that thing right now, but I'd also be careful of it in there because they're pulling the indicative pricing, and you might just want to give that few days at least before you get too enthusiastic about it. It doesn't hurt whatsoever to be watching it, but just understand what you're watching. It's not altogether that tradable. It's certainly not what we're used to. So, word of caution there. Um, Bonds have been pretty choppy this morning. Uh, if you were up at midnight, which I wasn't, um, there was a nice trade, and then about, I don't know, about 5 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 or 6, something like that. I don't have my system up, and I'm not ready to go at that time. So the dollar has been in a real tight move this morning. I mean, it's very tight range, and it finally dropped off a little bit. But crude oil had a nice move up, and some of this is on the Saudi uh, news. Those guys are talking about how they think there's they've kind of overdone the um, the pullback on their production, and so we'll see what they do. They do a lot of talking, and it gets the markets to move. It's the old adage about buy the rumor and sell the news. So anyway, keep that in the back of your mind. Crude oil it's kind of trying to decide what it really wants to do here. It went down and hit that 42-ish level, and all the pundits are telling you, oh my goodness, it's going down to 20. Well, not so much. So now it's bounced back up its head today and yesterday, uh, or Friday. It's been pretty much in the same range. So right now our indicators are telling us that it would like to move to the upside, but uh, the pit on crude oil closes at 232. So keep in mind that the volume tends to dissipate out of that thing when the pit closes. And the same for gold, only it closes at 130, I believe. Anyway, I don't know. We've barely got the VIX alive. It's trading right now just one tick over 11. So I didn't notice what it was when the indices were down towards their low, but looks like for the last couple hours the indices are trying to come up anyway. If you are a Nadex trader and you'd like to trade those Forex pairs, I'm noticing that when you see the dollar in a real tight range, then the corresponding uh, currencies to whichever pair you've got with the dollar tends to be about the same. And this morning, the Aussie dollar as well as the euro have been in really tight, I mean, going nowhere. And those make, I mean, if you can get the premium out of those contracts, those make good premium collection strategy trades. But the key is going to be on the dollar. So um, that bears watching. Anyway, let's see. We didn't have a heck of a lot of news this morning. It was kind of pokey. That's what Mondays typically are. And then tomorrow morning it'll pick up a little bit. Let's see. Real early in the morning, there's a little bit of news. Not a heck of a lot. Certainly not any that's flagged red, which means it's significant news. But 8:15, the Canadian housing starts, So if you like to trade the 6C or the the Canadian dollar pairs, that might be worth looking at. Be sure you check the Apex website, the news tab, because um, they put in there trades that you can take and what time to put them on and what time frame and all that stuff. All you have to do is find the contracts you want. And then at 10 tomorrow is the JOLTS jobs opening. That is supposed to be up a little bit. If it doesn't make it, you might see the dollar respond to that also. So that's coming up, and that's tomorrow. And then Wednesday morning, things will pick back up. And tomorrow is, if you trade the let's see, the ZN. Yeah, I'm getting all my letters mixed up. The ZN tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock is the 10-year bond auction. So if that's a market that you trade, I would expect on Wednesday morning. I mean, this is Wednesday. I'm sorry. Wednesday morning, that might be a little choppy and not move too much. But anyway, that'll get us through the next couple of days. And so we'll all carry on from there. We had some questions put in this chat earlier, and I looked and I didn't find them real fast. So anyway, if anybody has any questions that you haven't gotten an answer to, just put them back in here, because noontime is usually a little quieter time for all the people in here. Somebody wanted to know, I remember seeing once if there was if a moderator came in the room. There are at least 2 moderators and usually 4 in here weekdays in the mornings, and sometimes there's a couple still in the afternoon. So it just depends, but you can tell by how many moderators are at least logged in by the little, in your invited list, the little headphone thingies. There's a little headphone icon over there, and there's a blue L looking thing. I'm not sure what that is, but anyway, that'll let you know if there's anybody in the room that's moderating. And even if there's not, don't hesitate to ask. I mean, there is a world of experience in this room all the time. It's mind-boggling. I mean, there are people in here who have all kinds of experience trading all kinds of stuff. So that's the whole purpose of the room, is to take advantage. And somebody will tell you something that doesn't quite make sense, and somebody else will tell you the same thing in a little different way, and it clicks. We're all like that. So don't worry. If you don't get it, just ask again, because we'll stay after it until you understand, really and truly. So I think that's about it. This has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. I'll see you tomorrow. Dennis, if you're asking me about 12 tick on the OP, I have 12 tick on the main chart. We determined back in the beginning, when we were all, we didn't have all this wonderful stuff we have now. But on diagnostic bars on crude oil, you get a little bit less, it's a little smoother ride on a 12 tick, and that's somewhere in the forum. But yes, I prefer a 12 tick, but what I keep the 6 tick up for is when the market's moving very slowly, which can happen, you can get using this alchemy, or I mean, if you like IZSS or whatever, um, the main event on crude oil with the diagnostic bars, I think most of us have determined we like the 12 tick a little better. I do, but that's why I have the 6 tick up here also, because I like to see those